I am so excited about this Brazen Hussies panel. We have 3 industry pros here. Each one of them has a different business model that has been successful, and they're all going to share that model with you. On my immediate right is Libby Jordan, who is the marketing consultant for Open Road Media, which is a publishing company that she'll tell you about that is certainly a non-traditional New York, a non-traditional model if you compare it to New York. In fact, all of these people are non-traditional models that work. Next to Libby is Gina Pianeteri, who is a literary agent and management and marketing guru, I would say. And on Gina's right is Debbie Mack, who is an independently published author who has managed by hard work and good writing to get herself onto the New York Times ebook bestseller list. So they all have a different model that has worked for them. I'd like to start with Libby on my right to tell you a little bit about Open Road, and then she'll pass on to Gina and so on. Libby?
I have been consulting with Open Road for about 1.5 years now. It was co-founded by Jane Friedman, who was the CEO of HarperCollins, very traditional publisher, and her partner, Jeffrey Sharp. Open Road is a 360-degree publisher, is what we call it. And what that basically means is that we cover all angles of the publishing business, whether it's the traditional print book or whether it's an ebook, and that we market 365 days a year. When we take on an author, we don't just publish the book and do publicity for a month or 2 and then go on to the next book. We go through a process whereby everything we do, from tweeting to Facebooking to reading the book and coming up with milestones around your characters, around your birthday, and we find ways to market the books against those different kinds of milestones. We focus on ebooks. That is certainly where we see huge opportunity on a lot of levels, but that's not all we do. Some of the authors, we only do the ebooks. Other authors we might have the POD trade paperback and the ebook, but not the hardcover. So every single author is a different story. Every single author is handled individually. I work primarily in the mystery, crime fiction, true crime, thriller genre at Open Road.
My name's Gina Pianeteri, and I'm president of Talcott Notch Literary, which is located in Milford, Connecticut, which is on the coastline between Bridgeport and New Haven. So it's a really small coastal town. We're a boutique agency. We take on authors that we have a special passion for their work. And one of the things that we tend to do with the authors is not only do we represent the work that they bring us, but we tend to conceive of works that we can bring to them. It's not unusual for me to come to the author with concepts for series or projects, and this is not the same as packaging works. I simply drop the project in their laps. I have no proprietary interest in them. My dream for our authors is to make them as quickly as possible self-sufficient, supporting themselves as writers. And sometimes that means kind of pulling rabbits out of hats a little bit. We are also very keen on marketing with our writers. A lot of it includes social media, which is very important right now, especially if you're going to be looking at an ebook future. Ebook readers are on the internet, and that's where they're finding out about their writers. And the people that they want to follow. So that's what we're doing in tremendous amount with our writers right now.
Okay, my name's Debbie Mack, and my website is debbiemack.com. I also have a blog where I promote my books, talk about my life, and ramble on in various ways, called My Life on the Mid-List. It was, in fact, inspired by Kathy Griffin's show, My Life on the D-List. and sort of follows that model. Really, my bread and butter is ebooks, though I also issue my books in print, and now I have both of my novels in audio version as well, and I'm making some money from those. I've started to see royalties come in from my audio books at this point, and it's pocket change compared to what I get from my ebooks, but it's still money, it's still royalties, and I make a good living at it, actually. I'm not a starving artist. It's amazing. I'm astonished. I basically started out publishing my first novel myself after it had initially been published by a small press and went out of print 9 months after it was published. And that was, to say the least, a disappointment. And I thought, why don't I really just focus on being an independent author and trying to sell work directly to people through ebooks, through e-publishing. And that's what I decided to do at that point, because I realized I could make a living off of that if I just focused all my marketing efforts that way, directly to readers, instead of trying to sell to a publisher. I've published 2 novels and 1 collection of short stories called 5 Uneasy Pieces, and together the sales, primarily through ebooks, have earned me enough at this point to where I'm actually making a living off of what I earn. And both novels have reached the top 100 on Amazon.com. Both novels have reached the top 100 on Amazon UK. And as Marcia mentioned, Identity Crisis, my first novel, hit the New York Times ebook bestseller list twice. So that exceeded my wildest expectations.
How much time would you say that you spend promoting yourself as opposed to actually writing the books that you write?
I think people get the impression that I spend a lot more time promoting than I actually do. One of the things that makes promoting easier for me is Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you should be. Twitter is a marketer's best friend. Blogging and tweeting together have been my way of getting my message out. I also should mention that I have 5 blogs. I know that's insane. They each fulfill a different purpose, and I am pretty organized, that helps. So what I try to do is devote, say, at least a half hour to an hour to, say, blogging every day. And as far as, tweeting something only takes moments. And then I have a little bit of time I set aside on Friday for Follow Fridays. And I try to do that at least every other week.
Libby, could you talk a little bit about the importance of social media, and then Gina follow up on that?
Tweeting is incredibly important because it's about building community. And I think that's one of the directions, I think that's one of the things that's new about where we are today. It's what's really exciting about the possibilities going forward. I probably spend, and again, this is not for myself, I do this for the authors that I work on, but I spend 8 hours a day, and I know that probably sounds obsessive, but I am constantly in the realm of social media. On Facebook, I'm probably on Facebook a total of about 1 hour to 2 hours a day. Twitter is probably about 4 hours a day. I also do something called Scribd. The thing that I love about Scribd is that it gives you an incredible opportunity to sample. So you can throw a chapter or 2 chapters of your book up on Scribd, and you can invite the world to come and read it. But if you want to go to one place and start in one place, I would recommend Twitter. That would be the one place I would start. And if you don't know what to tweet, tweet sentences from within your book. Tweet quotes that people have given you on Amazon or Goodreads. Tweet from your character in the voice of. Tweet about other books that you like. Set yourself up like some people do, follow Fridays. Set yourself up. Monday's going to be the day you tweet about your favorite book. Tuesday's going to be the day you tweet about your favorite character. Wednesday, you know, like give yourself a schedule if it's hard to sort of just jump in. But I really think social media has a lot to offer. It's cheap. It's labor intensive, but it really works.
One of the things that I suggest to people that I talk about with my fiction writers is using social media in a somewhat different way to get the readers interacting with the books in different ways than simply reading about them statically. I want them to get excited and interact with the book. So, okay, look, let's take an example. Say you have a character in your story who works in a bar. He's one of the main characters. Okay, why can't we have a website for the bar? And we can have on that bar, you can have a drink menu. You're going to have email addresses. Say he's the head bartender. He's the person they can contact. That has to be a live email address where people can contact him. There can be a phone number. Right now, you can get phone numbers for super cheap with a message, an outgoing message for that business. You can have a three-dimensional world online for your book outside of the book itself, where it takes on a life of its own. Everything can link to each other, but it should always link back to the Amazon buy page, okay? Always. Everything should always link back to buying the book. All right. People like to be able to interact with your book. They like to feel like they're getting more out of the story than just the story. There's nothing stopping you from giving your book and your characters and their world a three-dimensional life outside of the book. You know, threading in hidden subplots and having wormholes from your book into this extra world that you create between Facebook and Twitter and the websites, where you've given people clues that's going to open them up to some other pathway, to an entire other level of the story. They get to follow you, you know, through all these other levels of Facebook, and they may find other short additional materials, but they have to follow the clues.
Because we've been talking an awful lot about the social media and online, and I was actually just thinking about how we marry the online and the offline to talk about that too. In terms of videos, you know, people always want to know, should I do a book trailer? And the thing is, at Open Road, we're very careful that we don't do book trailers, ever. We do videos. They're very much documentary style videos, and they're author profiles to start. Every author who comes on board, we do an author profile where we send a fantastic crew out. We have a number of different cameramen and producers and directors and editors that we work with. They have a whole studio, and they will send people to your home. They'll travel to wherever you are. They'll spend 2 or 3 days shooting you, and then they come back with B-roll, and they will sit down and put together a 2-minute or less documentary style video that focuses on you talking about your craft of writing. So yeah, we do videos, we do mashups a lot, focus a lot on milestones.
Debbie, what kind of out-of-the-box things have you tried successfully, coming from someone who was relatively unknown to someone who is fairly well known? How did you do that?
I started what I call the author blog, my life on the mid-list. I'll just write about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, my book signings, events, how I'm trying to market my books, that sort of thing, and see where it goes. And I did. I would blog about it. I would make it, you know, funny and make it kind of silly and goofy, and I just kept going and I kept doing it, and I would get comments. That surprised me, and I started to notice my hit count was going up and up and up. It was a kind of an affable, getting to know me personality thing. And I would just write as if I was talking directly to the person reading the blog. as if we were having a conversation. The other part of it is when you go on Twitter, part of my approach was I didn't want to just follow people who were in the industry. I mean, initially, yes. I mean, I was looking for the usual suspects, so to speak, you know, some of the big authors and names in publishing. But I also wanted to go after people who were interested in books and reading, as well as just interesting people. Think outside the box when it comes to people who you follow. Don't just follow people who are in publishing. Follow people who are interesting to you, who you think might be interested in you.
I just wanted to give the panelists one more opportunity to talk a little bit about something that was really unusual that you do that helps your authors or helps you get attention.
You know, I think the thing that Open Road does the most different, really, and I've sort of touched on this, is just that it's ongoing. I mean, we just don't ever stop. I mean, I am still marketing books that Jack Higgins wrote in 1977. Every day, I'm tweeting from the Jack Higgins about, you know, the eagle has landed. I work on, you know, 52 books from Larry Block. You know, it's just, and every day there's something more to say. So I think that probably the two things I would say is, one, you never know who you're going to meet. Just stay open and accept everything as it comes in, and don't ever stop. Because, you know, tomorrow could be the day.
Good point. Gina.
Mm-hmm. I would say I try very hard to connect people and matchmake authors together, because as a network working together, they tend to do amazing things. They do community blogs. If their work resonates with the same readers, it's amazing that they tend to all really get along amazingly well, even if they're like thousands of miles apart in different countries. I do that. The blogs that work the best are the ones that have a distinct personality, that are quirky. If you have a boring blog, you will not attract readers. One of our best blogs that we've had the best luck with is a blog that one of my writers started when she was at the supermarket and had a spontaneous midlife crisis while staring at a copy of Martha Stewart Living. And she thought that if she could just make that beautiful turkey and those wonderful vegetables and everything, her life would be perfect. So she started writing a blog about her life trying to be more like Martha Stewart. And Martha and me spawned 8 appearances on Martha Stewart Living Radio, and we are now on our 3rd cookbook, which she's turned into a wonderful cook. And she has 50,000 followers. So a quirky, weird blog really gets a lot of attention.
A lot of people think ebook author, overnight success, or I'm all about, I want to make $1 million, or get my work out there as fast as possible, as much as possible. I'm not about that, and I don't believe in that. What I believe in is quality product. Make sure you have a quality book before you put it out there. That's my philosophy. I always run my stuff past an editor before I have it published, you know, before I publish it. So don't feel like you have to be in a rush if you're going to self-publish your work. There's plenty of time to get in on ebook publishing. Ebooks are going to be around. They're going to be around forever. This is for real, and it's going to last. People will always want stories.